Hi, guys. All right, time for some cursive. I just making sure that my mute button is off, and it is, so that's good. Okay, so today we're going to look at one more where we're really practicing the undercurve, and then we're going to introduce a new stroke, which is called the check stroke, and then we're going to really start our loop-de-loops, okay? Which are my favorites, and obviously the best ones about cursive in general. So here we go. Let's look at the letter W. So W has an undercurve at the beginning, and then it has a couple of other undercurves. It has an undercurve here and an undercurve here again. So I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit so that we can see. Here we go. Okay. So, and we're going to focus it. Here we go. One more time. Okay, guys. So with W, you can see that we start right here, and you can kind of see that W, like a print W hiding in there like we can for a lot of letters, right? So let's look. So I'm going to start here at the pink line. Remember that this is not a straight line, okay? It's an undercurve. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to undercurve. I'm going to overlap right here. You see that little bit of overlap? I'm going to overlap, scoop, undercurve, overlap, scoop, undercurve. And then once I hit this line again, I'm going to do, it's like kind of like a little baby undercurve. It's called a check stroke. And we have this at the end of W's, at the end of, I'm trying to think of where else we have it. It's kind of at the end when you have well, we'll talk about it later. With an O is where you have it as well. So you're going to do a little baby check stroke. So again, it's not like this, okay? You're not separating them. They come back on top. You always are doing back over and then your check stroke at the end. Okay. So look right here. See how much I overlapped it right there? That's how much you need to overlap. If yours look like this, if it looks like a mountain peak, no bueno. Okay. We got to fix it to where it is overlapped like that. All right. So if we come down here, we can see that the check stroke, I'm going to do a couple of W's so you can watch me. So we'll start at this green dot. We'll undercurve up, come down, and overlap, scoop, undercurve, overlap, scoop, undercurve, and then your little check stroke at the end. Your check stroke is little. It shouldn't be a full undercurve, okay? It's just a little, bloop, just like that, all right? So remember, when you do your W's, you do one here, and under everyone on this line, you do another one. You don't do 8 million on this line, okay? You're just doing one under each W. Down here, you can see the check stroke is actually where the W joins to its next letter. And so sometimes it makes it look a little bit wonky, okay? So if your next letter starts with an undercurve, it may feel weird. Like look right here at this T. So I have my W, scoop, scoop, and then I check stroke. That check stroke becomes the beginning of my T, and I have to not stop the check stroke. I keep going up, and then I come down and form the other undercurve of my T, okay? So just be mindful of that, all right? So you're going to practice those. Remember, you trace these, and then you do them underneath. And if you want to trace in marker, I think that's totally fine. But when you're doing your actual practice underneath, I want you to do pencil, okay? Next letter, very, very simple letter. The letter E. It begins and ends with an undercurve, and it's got a little loop-de-loop in the middle. And you want to know some really good news. E and L are very similar. L just goes all the way to the top, and E only goes to the dash blue, okay? So let's look. We're going to start with an undercurve. We're going to loop it back. We're going to come, this basically is it's still slanted right here when we come down, okay? And then we're going to come back and undercurve at the end. So if I'm doing my E's down here, I'm going to start at the dot. I'm going to undercurve, come back and loop, undercurve to finish. And you always end at that dash blue line, okay? You don't want to end like this because that's crazy, okay? And you also don't want to end it right there because that's not a full E, okay? So when you join E, just like with the other undercurves that we've looked at so far, the ending undercurve of one E becomes the beginning undercurve of your next letter, okay? So you're going to practice with those. You can see this is where we are joining a W to an E. And we can see how that check stroke becomes the beginning of the E. And we just connect them like this. Okay. Remember, we're treating each letter like a work of art, a Mona Lisa. Okay. All right. And finally, we have our L. Right here, it's the same thing, but our undercurve, it's a tall undercurve, so it's going to start here and curve all the way to the top, then come down, scoop undercurve to finish. All right. Let me show you one more down here. So we're going to start here, tall undercurve, loop back, scoop undercurve to finish. All right. Very straightforward. And we have some practice here where you're joining L's to other letters. All right. So you guys got it. And I will see you tomorrow.